the best netball podcast ever. Grand final edition. Here we go.
I'm Carla, and I'm going first because I am now famous after being on Sky TV for at least 3 seconds.
Hi, I'm Chris. I was not on Sky TV and I was sat right next to Carla. I'd had my hair done and everything. And after 2 hours of Sky TV filming, I was not featured.
Hi, I'm Pete. I haven't even got Sky TV because it's just too expensive.
Good job we're not sponsored by Sky, hey, Pete.
It is, yes. Good job.
Yet. How are you, Pete?
Yeah, I'm all right, thank you. Yes, just, fighting the good fight and all that.
How are you coping with this heat with a man of your age?
A man of my age, thank you for that. I tell you what, ice pops are the future. You know Mr. Freeze that we had when we were kids? They are the future. One on the forehead, one down the underpants, and one in the mouth. Fantastic. Unbeatable.
Okay. I'm
Just
glad
keeps
you're
you
not
cool.
wearing that array right now.
Certainly not. Well, I might be. You don't even know. You don't know.
This, everybody, is our grand final of the Super League 2026 edition, and we are so excited to be talking all things world-class netball. I'm putting it out there, it was world-class netball.
So there's pluses and negatives. The negative is it means our Akuma Arena tour has now officially finished.
That's sad. That's really sad. But let's talk about Saturday and how unbelievably incredible the day was. We're going to be reliving a day that reminded us all just how far netball has come, from the atmosphere in the arena, which was phenomenal, to the performances on court. Honestly, this will be talked about for a long time.
So we'll take you through our Saturday. We met, we were all going to travel down together, and we decided while we were in the car to do some Instagram lives, and I tried to prop the phone really expertly in the windscreen, which probably not great from a safety element. I mean, I wasn't obscuring your view, was I, Carla?
Let's just be clear here, as we are actually live to the nation, that no laws were broken. I was carefully and professionally and properly driving the car. Let's just make sure that's super clear before we go any further.
As professionally as you can drive a car.
I just want to get to the point where we're chauffeured down to the final. I think that day is coming, but for now, we did have to drive. We did get stuck in traffic. We did absolutely make the best of it. Singing along on our journey, we had Bex the boss with us and Team Juniors, my daughter and Beck's daughter, all heading down. And sadly, we were late and we did miss a bit of the pre-stuff, but it is what it is.
But our listeners kept us entertained, didn't they? So we were going live. We had loads of people tuning in to our car journey. We had a bit of banter. We had a bit of fun. And it actually did make the journey a little bit more fun. So we arrived, we went straight through security into our little media section. We sprayed ourselves with the Soft and Gentle products that were kindly left in there. Thank you, Soft and Gentle.
I just want to start from the beginning and really set the scene here, because the atmosphere, we walked into the arena, and this is the biggest UK arena, has never been used for a sporting event final. It was like a new era of netball, wasn't it? It was so professional, so polished. It was such a great product. It was all packaged together in what felt like a big pink bow and just delivered. I was so grateful to be there. I loved every minute.
Claire Nelson and her team worked so hard to make sure that everything was thought of, from the lighting to the food to the entertainment. Honestly, even all the flags of all the 8 teams were all up there in the stadium for everybody to see. What a way for the whole of the league to come together.
I absolutely love the little touches that reference the league as well. They had a load of Super League players representing each of the teams. I thought that was fantastic. I got a picture with literally the whole group. We saw Jackie Newton, we saw Jada Pekova, Jazz Brown. I thought that was so clever, so powerful. And just a real way to kind of make it the pinnacle of the whole season as opposed to a standalone event. That was so well put together. So credit to the team.
I love the fact they can be so feisty on court, and we saw quite a bit of that, obviously, in the final. Well, throughout the whole of the league, there was a bit of that going on. But outside, it's like me and you, Carla. We can be like fighting, picking on each other, but actually, we're the best of friends outside of the podcast. Who knew?
You say that to everybody just so that's what people will think. I do think, though, I mean, I said it, we'll obviously come on to talk about the actual netball in a second, but one thing I did say a few times was watching Ali Cardwell and Fumi Fedoju. They were going at it. And you got to remember, they're also Rosie's teammates. I mean, how does that even work? I couldn't get my head around it because, like, seriously, we were really close. We were sat right behind the production team. Tamsin Greenwaite was in the seat in front of me, and then there was the court. And they were going at it. It was like
we saw every facial expression, every eye roll, every arm wave.
Yeah.
Do they text each other after, or like, you were out of order
Still
today,
friends,
mate?
Yeah, still friends. I've no idea. I just don't know how you can switch from that intensity and the ferocity of that to being on the same court, on the same team. I really hope we can have a little bonding get-together before the Commonwealth Games.
We really did have the best day. We saw our friends there. Claire talks netball. We saw Ali, Nia Jones. We had a good, Emily. Yeah, we had a good catch up with them.
I'm here if you need our fellow podcast friends.
Yeah. And do you know what? How nice was it to have a catch up with them? Podcast supporting podcasts. I absolutely love it.
Yes, definitely. Let's talk about the netball. Because for me, there is only one way to sum that up. World class. And that's what we want, isn't it? We want our sport to be on the world stage in this country. And I think the standard of both teams was exceptional. I was really surprised that Pulse played with the same 7 players throughout. I hope I'm right in saying that, because I don't remember there being any substitutions.
Has Sam Bird explained any of her way of thinking with that? Do we know?
I guess they're just reacting to the match, and they were in it. It could literally have gone either way. And I think this is what, like, obviously people will be talking about for a long time after, their thoughts, their evaluations. I will say we were sat sort of towards one end of the court. We were kind of on an angle, so we got a really good shot because obviously we were with media teams. Most of them were taking photos and videos, but it meant that we were quite close to one of the posts, or more close to one of the posts. The first quarter, I mean, Thunder really struggled to break through that Pulse defence. And I can remember there was one particular goal. I'm sure we were counting up and it was like 15 passes around, and they just shut them down. It was so tight. And this sort of towards the end of that first quarter, it carried on for a little while longer. They couldn't get the ball to post. And they had no choice but obviously make some kind of change. And that's when, not long after that, Sophie Ford came on.
Second quarter, wasn't it? Sophie came on.
Yeah.
And
it was the right thing to do.
Oh, what a little pocket rocket.
Felt like, and this is going to sound really stupid, but it felt like someone had got a bottle of pop, like she was the bottle of pop, and they were shaking her ready. And then they literally just took the lid off and gave her a push onto court. That's the only way I can describe it, because she came on like on fire. And she stayed at that level of intensity and pace throughout. That baseline run was amazing. She cut through and shredded that defence that had shut down Lois Pearson, a world-class level player.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
And there was times when Elle just drew out the defenders and Sophie just ran in and took that ball. It was perfection.
Yeah, it was such a joy to watch. And we can't not talk about the Taylor McKevitt and Liz Scholes matchup, because that kept me entertained. Yeah. I loved Taylor McKevitt. And I feel like there will be a real mixed views on this. And I'm just going to say it because everyone's entitled to their opinion. She did have some game management. Gary Burgess was all over it. But I just thought she was so invested and clean and slick and powerful. I just had no issue with how intense the level of intensity that went into win ball. And she did win ball. Like she did cause turnovers.
She didn't let
cause tips.
Any opportunity pass her by. Every single interception that she could physically make, she went for it.
Yeah. And it's brave, isn't it? And especially when you're under that pressure of that game management. She had those calls. She had a couple of words of advice, and it didn't make a difference. I know you need to adjust your play to accommodate for that, but you can't not win ball. This is a league final. You have to put it all out there, and that's what she did. I thought she was phenomenal.
So come on then, Carla. Who stood out for you?
I think we can't not mention Krystine. Debut game for AO Manchester Thunder. I'm not going to lie, I was really sceptical. I was a bit like, is this the right thing to do? I thought Josie Huckle was incredible. And I think bringing her on, I think it was a real game changer. If she isn't signed and snapped up in the transfer window, which has just opened, I don't know what is going on, because I thought she was phenomenal. The composure, imagine that level of pressure when I know she's trained with them, but like she literally hasn't played before.
I don't know how she coped. She must have literally been bricking it.
Mind-blowing.
But yes, agree. She was the name on a lot of people's lips that afternoon.
Definitely. I thought Amy Carter was exceptional. Her work rate through the centre third was relentless. She continually offered that outlet, didn't she, in attack?
How does she play a full match as centre?
Oh, yeah, I know, exactly. And the captain element of her game, I think she's such a leader on court, off court. That really shone through for me. I thought her maturity and her play was exceptional. And even when that pressure really intensified, she just didn't waver from what clearly was their game plan.
She is like that real important link in the match play. I don't think either end would have worked as well without her there.
When you're talking about who made the impact as well, I can't help but obviously mention Fumi Fodeju, who was a game changer. I've already said it, but that first quarter, that shutdown in defence was incredible. Her elevation, when they were hoisting her up, I thought she was going to literally touch the top of the post.
The crowd were going mad. It was like, when you're seeing it there, right in front of you, that strength, that hold, it's amazing.
And just the anticipation that she reads the ball and the trajectory of the ball so perfectly. Her timing's impeccable. She's one of the most disruptive defenders in world netball. I absolutely pray that we don't lose her to the SSN, because she's phenomenal.
And you know I'm a massive Elle fan. Her composure, I know that obviously there was a few choice facial expressions, but there was a lot of feisty play going on. But my God, does she hold her position? She is like a wall. You can't get round her. She was absolutely on fire.
I love the speed of her roll as well. It's so fast, so well executed. Her feet movements, I just love watching that. It's such a
I try and do a roll, it just doesn't quite look the same.
Literally on the floor. Yeah, she does it like a dancer. Never mind a netball player.
She does. The game was interesting because there was no outright winner throughout really the first three. Even going into the fourth quarter, it kept changing and it kept everybody on the edge of their seats.
Well, that's what we wanted, didn't we? We all wanted a final that we could really get behind. And there was a lot of fans. Obviously, there was a lot of Thunder fans there. It was a home crowd advantage. It made a big difference. There was Pulse fans that had obviously travelled up. What was great there was all those other fans that obviously had probably bought their tickets before they knew if their own team was in the final. They were coming because it was an awesome world-class game of netball regardless. And Claire Nelson had said, come, buy your ticket, get involved. There was a big mix of people. We saw people in Forest shirts, in Lightning shirts, in Dragon shirts. And I thought that was great. But they all came because they wanted to have a great game of netball. And what you didn't really want was a blowout. You didn't want that huge Thunder home crowd advantage that meant that Pulse didn't get a look in, because it absolutely could have gone either way. And just to I'm sure everyone's now watched the game, but that last centre pass, Thunder were 2 goals up, which is 1 super shot. It was Pulse's centre pass. If that centre pass had have led to goal, it would have been a draw. And then obviously extra time or whatever. But the only reason they won by 3 was that centre pass was sadly not executed correctly from Gracie Smith. Not putting any blame, because it's a whole match, it's a whole hour of netball.
I'm sure she's beating herself up. If you saw at the end of the actual match, she was in tears and Sam was comforting her. So you're going to take that, aren't you? But you can't blame one person, because it's the whole match, isn't it?
It just isn't. It isn't.
It's not fair to. So I hope she's not getting any stick for that. She's 17 at the end of the day, and my God, has she given a performance during all the matches that she's played in. She's been amazing.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? You've got to take that whole season for those players and the talent and the improvement. AO Manchester Thunder as well, they played the long game. and it paid off. I would think there was obviously a good element of planning in terms of when they've peaked to form and they timed it perfectly. Some of that could have been by complete chance, but if I was Karen Greig, I'd be taking every ounce of that credit and saying that was the plan from all the way through. And some of that's obviously reflected in the interviews that we will be playing later in the episode. But I loved it.
But I think to sum it up, we both came away, and let's be honest, it really, to us, wouldn't have mattered who won as long as all of us fans got to be there and embrace such a landmark occasion. Because for me, I'm never going to forget the day.
Yeah, definitely. And that's what they did so well, because they brought the fans along with them, whether you play on a Sunday morning or on a Tuesday night, anywhere in the country. It was like that was as much about us as fans as it was about those players and those teams. And it's hard to achieve that, because obviously those players on court will feel incredibly proud and rightfully so. But so should all of the people that have invested in the whole season. They've bought tickets along the way. They've bought the merchandise. They're supporting their team. And they're also playing netball in the grassroots community. And to feel such a part of that was a real privilege. And I'm just really proud of what the league have done and what those players have done and what it's meant for fans everywhere.
So with all that said, let's go straight into hearing what our fans thought on the day. And obviously we managed to catch up with some amazing Super League players and, of course, Karen Greig.
We didn't get very long with everybody because everyone wanted a piece of them, but we certainly got to have a chat. And there was a lot happen off camera that we could talk about after. But yeah, let's hear from the players, from the fans.
Welcome to the show, Gill. Thank you so much for giving us your valuable time. Firstly, let's just tell our listeners who you are, what your job is, and what involvement you have with AO Manchester Thunder.
Thanks so much for having me, Carla. This is the first time I've been on a podcast, so that's exciting. I am Commercial Director at AO Manchester Thunder. I joined, I still keep saying fairly recently, it was last November, but in terms of how seasons go, the very first kind of full season with the franchise. And yeah, what a season to join. I knew it was going to be a challenge when I first joined. I knew that we were aiming for the top, as Thunder always do. But yeah, what an exciting season, honestly. It's been a blast.
So just before we get into the nitty-gritty of chatting the final, which is obviously what this episode's all about, just tell us a little bit about what your job involves. Like, what does it mean to be the commercial director of a franchise?
In a snapshot, it's trying to make money for the franchise, trying to bring in money and then control spend as well at the same time. So I work with all of our key commercial sponsors and partners in managing the relationship with them on the day-to-day. And then in terms of community, I also run our community team as well, which is also a bit of a revenue driver for most of the franchises. Mostly dealing with partners and sponsors and then trying to drive revenue. Another side of it that I've recently taken over is ticketing, so involving all the kind of match day revenue angles for the franchise too.
Busy. Talk to me about the final. What a day. I still feel like I still get goosebumps when I think back how amazing that day was. Tell me what it felt like for you.
I worked for Netball Scotland prior to working for Thunder, and as part of that worked with our franchise up there, Sirens. So coming from kind of a Scottish franchise, we obviously had some games that we won on the court, but not the huge success that Thunder has had. So coming into a franchise like Thunder was a complete change and shift anyway. And I've been to a couple of grand finals before as a guest, but obviously never with the competing franchise. So that was an amazing experience from the offset. First of all, I guess I just want to say a huge thank you to the team at England Netball and the NSL because, wow, what an experience, what an event, what a show they put on for everyone. It really was next level. I didn't make it to the O2 last year, but like I said, I have been to previous ones. This year just absolutely blew me away as a fan, as, a franchise employee, just all around. It was amazing. A lot of it is Claire Nelson's vision, and having worked with Claire before, you can absolutely see that. The show and the level and the standard of professionalism that was brought to the event was amazing. But yeah, kudos to the team at the NSL. What an amazing experience. What an amazing match to watch as well. Everyone was hoping for it to be a really close, really thrilling, exciting game. And my God, did we get one. Not so great watching from from the side of being on the franchise where you're wanting to win. Like, having it close was just so intense. But yeah, again, as a fan, an amazing game to watch. You know, what a showcase of absolute elite level netball that we got on Saturday. It was fantastic.
I couldn't agree more. And it just feels like that we kind of moved into this new era, and this was the moment to the pinnacle and really raised the bar. And it just makes me super excited for what could follow. They obviously aren't done here, are they, for the Super League? Now, I'm assuming that Thunder didn't need a bus ride home because you were coincidentally and very luckily on what would be seen as home turf. Did everyone just leave after? How does that work? No bus ride?
No bus ride this time. But no, the majority of the staff and the players were all invited into the VIP lounge, which was lovely. So everyone got together up there after the players were ready. And then after that, we managed to get a room in a hotel to have some celebrations with friends and family there. So all the players went off to go and do that afterwards and then celebrated, I'm sure, well on into the night. I'm personally based in the East Midlands, so I had to drive home after the game. So I was in my car, got home, and then it was a bit of an anticlimax getting home with no one to celebrate with because everyone was in bed by that point. Absolutely thrilled for the girls, and I'm sure they, really enjoyed celebrations. And we've actually got our end of season awards on Friday this week, so there'll be even more celebrations to look forward to then as well.
Oh, that's nice. It's good to continue that a little bit longer, isn't it? And as we obviously have already spoken, I'm also an East Midlands girl. I'm sad that we didn't think to join up at the end there and do a little celebration back in the East Midlands.
I know.
Next year. Talk about what happens now. I know the signing window's open. Obviously, everyone's probably having a rest while there's a rest holidays planned. Does everything go a bit quiet? Do you all get a bit of time off?
I'd love to say that was the case, but actually we're straight back into it on Monday. So obviously Karen and the team are really busy with the signing window. There's a lot also going on behind the scenes in terms of speaking to sponsors, partners. There's a lot of traction after a grand final as it is, and then trying to capture even more so after a win. Obviously there were a lot of eyeballs on our sport at the weekend. There's been a huge amount of positive chat off the back of it. So we really need to, capitalise on this window of opportunity that we've got when, emotions are high and visibility is really high. So that's what we're trying to do. So yeah, no rest for us behind the scenes. I think long gone are the days when professional netball or netball in general was kind of that cyclical or seasonal sport. We now are, year round. So there's a lot of activity for us in terms of camps and masterclasses. We've got our first residential that's happening in the summer as well. So yeah, lots and lots still on the go in the summer. No rest for us. All fun stuff, though.
Sounds really exciting. I think it makes so much good sense, doesn't it, to really ride that wave and that visibility that we've all seen the sport get in. We're so impressed. We're all huge fans. Thank you for putting on such a spectacle and the part you play in that.
Shout out as well is just to the amazing Karen Greig. I can't go without saying, what a phenomenal coach she has been and showcased to this league. She put on an absolute masterclass of skill and wizardry throughout the whole season, but particularly on Saturday with the changes. But part of that is, the culture that she drives at the club. That's what I'm really fortunate enough to have come into, because it does seep through the whole of the business. It's not just, the players and the on-court, it's off-court as well. So yeah.
She's done a fantastic job. We were joking with her when we were chatting after the final that it clearly seemed a little bit like she played that long game on purpose, delivered it perfectly, picked it exactly the right time. The capability is incredible. And I think Manchester Thunder are very lucky to have such a safe pair of hands leading the helm.
Absolutely.
So I think that's all we've got time for today, because our busy show, summing up all things grand final. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Carla. Last final little shout out to a mutual friend of the podcast, Lauren Nichols, or Stedders, as we all affectionately know her in the East Midlands.
Oh, we love Lauren, very good friend of the show. Shout out to Lauren. Let's see if she's listening. Make sure she messages you back when she's heard this.
She better be. She'll be in trouble otherwise.
Have a lovely evening. Thanks so much for your time. Speak soon.
Thank you. Take care.
Hi Claire, let's talk grand final. What were your thoughts?
I mean, where do you start? I do want to start with the fact that it was not just a netball game. I mean, I've said that in one of my videos, but my God, it was just such a spectacle. And I think a lot of people felt the same, that when those players came out and you had that initial sort of build-up before the players walked out onto the court, I just got so emotional. And I think it was just like finally witnessing and being part of netball where it's really on such a massive trajectory. And I just thoroughly enjoyed the entire day. Like, it really wasn't just going to just any old game and just watching anything. I know it was always going to be big because it was the grand final of the Netball Super League and it was always going to be a big event. But my goodness, was it a big event? They really pulled out all of the stops. And I thought the arena itself was just fantastic. I mean, Co-op Live Arena, I'd never been before. And it was just insane. Just incredible day. So highly recommend, if you didn't go, that next year you should 100% book a ticket for grand final. If you don't go to any games next season, then go to the grand final because it was just electric.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more. Right team won, in your opinion?
I mean, I'm a London Pulse fan. I did say to a few people who I met when we were wandering around in the fan zone and just around the arena that I did think that Manchester Thunder were going to win. I mean, it was so close. It was such a good game. But I think ultimately Manchester Thunder just got themselves over the line, and absolute massive congratulations to them.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I think everyone was on their edge of their seats. It definitely, for me, made it better being so close than knowing it could have gone either way. I think that's what the fans will have wanted. Thank you very much. We will carry on with the rest of the episode. I'm so glad we saw you there, and thank you for your time. So first up from our player interviews was pretty much as soon as we walked into the arena, and we bumped into Nicola Smith and Shannon Malik.
Hi guys, really good to see you. It's starting to fill up and hot up in here. How are you feeling? You prepped and ready?
Yeah, so excited for the game, and I believe in the girls. It's going to be an amazing game. So yeah, very excited.
The pinnacle of a cracking season so far. I mean, it's going to be a tough match, I think, regardless of how this played out. Has the plan been executed all week? Are you feeling on form, ready?
Yeah, no, the girls, I think throughout the whole year we had a good prep for this moment. So today we're just going to go out there and show them what we have.
What do you think will be the tough matchups today, based on what you see in the lineup?
I think it's going to be a tough matchup all across the court, but I love watching Elle in the circle, so I'm going to see how her and Hallie match up today.
It's going to be great. We're really looking forward to it. I'm sure you've got great seats here, so have you got a prediction for them?
Thunder on top.
That's all we need.
Yeah, Thunder win by 5.
Thank you, Liz.
Here is our chat with the lovely, ferocious, incredible Taylor McKevitz.
Congratulations, that was incredible. Can I touch your medal?
Yeah, it's heavy. Heavier than I thought. Really heavy.
Wow. How does it feel to be the Super League 2026 champions?
Honestly, I can't believe it. As soon as we I just burst into tears. I feel like we just wanted it so bad, and yeah, it doesn't feel real.
You put everything out there on the court today, an incredible performance. Was the game plan set from the beginning? Had you always got your intention of going out there hard?
Yeah, I think because we've come up with Pulse a few times this year, so it was just about making tweaks, working on our own game, but also it's finals netball, stuff happens, you've got to adapt, but I was just so happy we got there in the end, crikey.
You and Liz though together, oh my god.
Yeah.
It was feisty.
It's always feisty, but I mean it's always a good game. I love when it's just the contest and stuff, and it's just us putting out our best, them putting out their best, and yeah, I'm happy with the line.
Had you really studied Liz's gameplay and the tactics? How much analysis had you personally put into that matchup that you knew was going to happen on court today?
Yeah, I mean, no matter who we're going to be up against, we always very much analyse our opponent and stuff. Obviously, like I said, we've come up with them a few times, so we already kind of knew what they'd bring, but we just make sure we're nailing what we thought, if that makes sense.
Your interceptions today were on fire though. Your elevation, wow.
Yeah. It feels weird because with all the lights and stuff, sometimes the ball feels like it's further away than it actually is, but no, it was good. And the Co-op's such a good venue. It felt like the crowd, I don't know how many people were here, but there was a lot.
Well, I was Googling it and it can hold 20,000.
Yeah, I don't know how much was filled, but it felt full.
A lot, yeah, it was great.
What's the plan tonight? How are you celebrating?
So drinks in the changing room, drinks later on, more drinks in the evening. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Can we come? Yeah, if you want, honestly. I think the plan was always us to have drinks, so it's either going to be happy drinks or sad ones, so it's going to be happy either way.
Congratulations, really well played.
Thank you. And a chat with Sophie Fawns, who was the absolute star of the day and player of the match.
Sophie, your job today was to be that impact player. You absolutely came on and did that. Was it always the plan to go on and create that kind of impact on court?
Yeah, I think for us, like, we're a team of 10. And, you know, even though we have 7 on the court, the 3 on the bench matter just as much as well. For me, it wasn't necessarily about being like that impact player. It was kind of like, I know my role. And for me, like, to be honest, I probably started a little bit better being able to watch the game and see what I need to do. And so I guess that's, what my role was today.
And when you were off court watching, had you already got a plan of how to change the game? The pace you brought obviously made a real difference. Was that the plan?
Yeah, I think I actively think about it a little bit, but for me it's more about cheering and being that support for the girls, being that little bit of voice and that extra bit of energy, and then I know when I can come on. You just never know when you're going to come off, and for me it was just about putting out what I can in the small amount of time that I had, because if I leave it all on court, there's always someone else who can back up and play for me as well, and we can just keep rotating like that, and I think that's the beauty of having 10 quality players on a team.
Do you think it gave you an advantage having that prep time before, that extra game where you obviously had the advantage going into the final?
Definitely, I think we got to be well rested, Baz's barbecue. But yeah, I think like for us it gave us that ability to watch them again and see how they play, and you know, they played a really good game against Loughborough last week, so we knew that it was going to be tough, and we knew that they were going to be hungry and coming off a high. So, and for us it was just about, you know, training hard and making sure we're still replicating that kind of game-like situation and scenario so that we were ready for today.
So rewinding back a few weeks to the Super Cup, and you lost every game. How does it feel today? Would you say that you might have gelled now?
Absolutely. I think when we first played in Super Cup it was tough because that was the first time pretty much that we'd all been together. I know I didn't play in Super Cup, and that was the first time I was playing with Elle kind of thing. So, you know, it was just about building, and I remember we sat in the change room being like, God, this might be a long season. But, you know, Karen pulled us in really quickly out of that dark spot, and she kind of said, you know, it's not even round 1 yet, and we've got room to build, we've got time to build. You don't want to be peaking now in pre-season. So, yeah, safe to say we peaked at the right time.
I think that was your game plan all along.
Absolutely. Underdog.
Yeah.
Well played.
Well played.
And next up, our chat with Amy Carter, the AO Manchester Thunder captain.
We are from the Best Netball Podcast Ever, and we think you were absolutely awesome today.
Thank you.
How are you feeling?
It's not quite sunk in yet, actually. Like, I did know that throughout the year that we were going to do it, and it was going to be amazing being in Manchester and doing it. But it's not quite sunk in. I'll probably 6 drinks in tonight, it might sink in.
We've already heard about the after party, so we're coming, obviously.
Yeah, fair enough. Thunder know how to party, and I think that's probably part of it. It's like you can relax, you know how to have fun, and then you can do the hard work as well.
It was a really incredible performance out there. I mean, the game plan just looked like you absolutely nailed it. Such a strong performance, and I think the matchups made it really interesting, obviously, for the fans. Did you really feel that home crowd advantage today?
Yeah, 100%. Like having the people behind us. I think there was also quite a lot of Pulse fans in today, so they definitely had people behind them. But the Manchester crowd, there's nothing like it. Like when we're at Bellevue or we're at the Velodrome, we really feel that 8th or 11th player, I guess, from the team, and that does really get you through.
What kind of direction were you getting from Karen? I mean, obviously there was a game plan from the beginning, but was there much difference that you had to make every quarter when you had those team talks?
Yeah, certainly. You just have to go back to the basics and just do the basics well, running your feet through, turning fully, sighting all the options. Sometimes in finals you can try and think too big picture, but you've got to very much focus it down to step by step, move by move. There was a lot of physicality in that game, and that's what she said at half time is physicality. If you're running with someone on your back, you've got to change direction, change the ball, fake it, change the line.
It really seemed like that second half you guys really opened up that court, and obviously getting that ball into your shooters was a challenge first quarter. Was that a big change when you brought on Keris and really tried to open the back of the defence up?
Yeah, Keris, what a debut.
Yeah, right?
100%. Like, she came on and she really attacked the game, and she was an anchor point in attack as well. I think in the first half, I think we're just grinding them down. I think that's just how finals are. Sometimes it's goal for goal. You've got to do the possession game, and we very much wanted to feel reward in our possession, and we did know that their defence would feel good if we were playing it through, but we knew that we were going to get reward from playing it back to the line, being patient, letting it open up, and that was going to feel good for us.
Absolutely, you were brilliant. We loved it.
Thanks ever such a lot for entertaining everybody today.
Enjoy the celebrations.
We like to try and keep it tight and stuff and make it interesting, so I feel like
squeaky bum time, I like to say.
Squeaky bum time.
And our last interview for the day, we only managed to get one question in because they were literally desperate to go and celebrate. is our conversation with the head coach, Karen Greig.
Karen, just one quick question from us. You guys obviously had a tough start. You played the long game. Was there ever doubt in your mind that you wouldn't be here winning this final today?
No, there wasn't, and I think, we took the criticism, we'll take that, that's fine, but, ultimately every single player has done a job throughout the season. We've had wobbly moments, we've had moments where we've really had to kind of find our feet and what works for us, but we knew at the end of the day we had a squad that were capable of stepping up in the moment and doing this, so we obviously always believed it was just making that happen.
You've been absolutely incredible all season. We've loved it. I don't want to keep you a minute longer because I know you're desperate to get with your team.
Down there.
Enjoy the celebrations.
Thank you.
Well, I think it's safe to say a good day was had by all.
Definitely. There's some such lovely comments. And I want to remind everybody, not only did we have these few people speaking on our podcast, but we have had hundreds of messages about this season and this final. So thank you to everybody that takes the time to give us their opinions. The Super League is for everybody, right?
I just feel blessed, Carla, from being a little podcast with, high aims and ambitions to roll forward a few months, and we're touring our Akuma Arena tour. We're attending these amazing matches, not just as fans, but also as media, and making sure we get amazing content to share with all our listeners. I'm so grateful.
Let's remember we had Claire Nelson coming on our podcast just a few weeks ago, and she was setting the scene for the grand final. I literally had a lump in my throat as she spoke about the momentum and the moment that we're creating in the Super League. And I thought, God, she set a high bar because this sounds absolutely fantastic. And she delivered. And I think credit to her team. So a huge shout out to Claire Nelson and the team that put it together, because we are blessed and we are privileged. And I really hope that comes across to all our fans, that we get to show you this content and speaking to these players, because grassroots netball needs that link. And we're just really glad that netball is at this place right now and is on the trajectory to be even bigger and better.
I mean, the little highlight was when at the end, Claire Nelson sort of came running up to us, and I cannot repeat what came out of her mouth at that point. But to sum up, it was basically, look at what we've achieved, and everything about her whole persona. She was so proud of her team, everybody that was there on the day. And it honestly was such a memorable moment, because I've never seen anybody look so elated in that moment. It was great.
Absolutely. And credit to AO Manchester Thunder for coming out on top, because it's been a turbulent season. There's been ups and downs. It's been ebbs and flows. It's been everything you would want in a league. And there's only going to be one winner at the end of the day. And I just love that image, Joe, right at the end where all the fire's going, all the confetti's coming down and the music's going and the lights are on them and they're all cheering, holding that trophy, because that's the image that we're now going to see for the next year that's on Sky TV or on YouTube, because it's replayed and replayed and replayed. So it looked like they enjoyed every second, and I'm sure Pulse were devastated, but they need to remember it is a full season. They've got to that final. They were defending champions and world-class netball was played.
They played unbelievably well. We can't take that away from them. It's not like they were terrible on court. They were absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it could have gone either way right to the end.
It really could.
Loved it.
So on that note, I think it's time to thank our sponsors.
Thank you to Akuma, who produce awesome kit, apparel, teamwear. If you need some kit for your club or your team, then get in touch with them, because their product is excellent. And I would love to remind everybody, we've said this before, go onto our socials, because we have some footage of the team at Akuma producing some kit, and it shows you their factory tour, their design process. If you need kit, contact Akuma. They're fantastic. Their website address is akumasports.com.
akumasports.com.
I'm really surprised they haven't made you remove their unwanted jingle.
They love it. That'd be crazy. And obviously, as always, I know we ask, but please like and follow us and share with anybody you think might enjoy some netball chit chat. On our Spotify and Apple Music, there's like a little icon, a little bell, which if you press that, it means you will get notified about our episodes. We really appreciate you enjoying our content and thank you so much. You can follow us on TikTok, on Instagram, and even on Instagram now. Bex the Boss has got a new little channel. Don't ask me how it works, called Netball Nerds. So if you haven't seen it, have a look at that. We are also on Facebook, and you can, of course, email us. How can we forget that you can email us to deep breath taken, the best netball podcast ever
at gmail.com. At some point, I am actually going to take your microphone off you. You know that, right?
Nope. Have a super week, everybody. Love you loads. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Thanks for listening.